So I guess we kind of both got burnt out. So then when Gerald switched to YouTube and he was getting into it and, you know, something that he was passionate about, I kind of wanted that spark again.
All right, guys, welcome back to another Ivy League Mindset. I'm here with Julie and Gerald Undone. They're content creators, videographers, and anything cameras or audio. So we have a lot to talk about. Some cool stuff. Gerald has 100K on YouTube, which is pretty cool, right? So we'll talk a little bit about the mindset leading up to it, because obviously it hasn't been easy, just like everybody else who tries to make it there, right? So I'll stop talking and pass it off to you guys. How'd you guys meet?
Oh, we met through a friend when we both lived in Toronto 6.5 years ago.
Yeah, July 2013.
Yeah. Does that stress you out? You're like, July. It's been a long time. Yeah, we both went to a barbecue, and it turned out that we were the only ones at the barbecue, us and the host.
Okay.
And, so we really hit it off because we had a long time to chat. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. There you go.
But he was already taken, so I
Yeah.
went for Gerald.
There you go.
And that was like, what, the first week you lived in Toronto?
Yeah, I was there for just before 2 weeks, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just before 2 weeks, and then pretty much we just started hanging out after that, and when we moved here in 2014.
Were you guys both into like photography and videography and stuff like that already?
For me, I've been a photographer my whole life, so I went to school for it. Graduated in 2005, and then I've been doing it ever since. Yeah.
I just did it as a hobby.
Yeah.
And like make videos as like a pet project, kind of joke videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Had some cameras, but we started like, I guess, running a business together based on the fact that you were a photographer, not based on me wanting to have a photography business.
Yeah, but you wanted to start up a business, right? So it kind of worked out. I was just finishing a job when I met Gerald. I was shooting real estate in Toronto, and then so when we met, I was like, I think I'm gonna start a hockey photography business, and he ended up running the booth for me, built the computers, built the monitors and everything, and he ran the booth. I took the photos. It was a great gig. We did that for about 5 years, and then Gerald was like, see ya, I'm gonna go do YouTube and crush it. So
Did you guys
so we did.
Did your passions feed off each other to keep moving up on?
Oh, big time. Like Gerald's passion for it, like he builds all of our computers and stuff. So just that, like having that at the booth, he could rig everything in a way, like the screens so that people could view their photos. Everything was rigged in a way, and he was constantly coming up with new things to further our business. And then that's when you got into cameras, because every time I'd come back to the booth, he'd be like, did you see this? Did you see, like, he was always showing me like new gear and new stuff. So we always had like the best cameras for the specific job. So yeah, I think that's when the passion started, but definitely we fed off each other for sure, because it's when you're around somebody that likes what they're doing, you just get so much more excited about what you're doing.
100%.
Yeah, so that helped for sure.
That's a great combination, by the way, the computers and like what you're doing now with the videos and photography and stuff like that. That's
part of how I position my channel is that I'm more of like a computer nerd who makes videos on cameras than I am like I wouldn't say that I'm an artist, you know what I mean? Like maybe a little bit, but it's more like I'm a computer nerd who plays with cameras. That's kind of the shtick of the channel. So
yeah, you like the more technical part.
I do.
Yeah. I can see that.
I like geeking out with it, you know?
Yeah,
I think
for
that's
sure.
why you understand how things work. Like, there's elements of photography now. I've been doing this for, how many years is that? 15, right?
Yeah.
Or 17. That he understands better than I do, because like,
he breaks it down to
he
that
can break
level,
it down, exactly. Yeah, like I remember early on in our relationship, you're like, what's depth of field? And I was like, it's the distance from the camera, the amount that's in focus. It's fine, just leave it or whatever. And he's like, no, seriously, what is it? And then you have a whole video on this where he breaks it down. I've never heard anything as in-depth. I went to college and I didn't hear such an in-depth explanation. So yeah, I think you understand how things work. That's super helpful.
Try.
Yeah, you learn.
This is a terrible reference, but have you seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah. Yes.
It's like Walter
yeah.
breaking down how to make meth, right? So, we probably should cut that out, but that's okay. So we'll get into our first topic. This is for you, Julie. So I met you probably a year ago.
Yeah.
Around there.
Yeah.
So not too long, but I feel like I've known you a little while now,
Yeah.
just because I feel like it's interesting with you is that you're interested in a few things, right? But your passion to get better at them is what really interests me. So can you tell me, why do you want why do you ask so many questions about different things, and why do you want to get better at these things? Why do you feel like it's good to hone in on the stuff that you're interested in?
I feel like I've always loved to learn, but it might be a little bit because of you, but I feel like 2019 was my year of learning. Like I really got into stuff, and I just found opportunities were coming my way left, right, and center, and I wasn't saying no to much. I just, took whatever opportunity I could, and then I got super into it. So I got super into fitness.
Yeah.
And then whenever I met somebody that obviously, like you, knew what they were talking about, I don't know, I just wanted to know more. Like, how do you know it, and how can I learn it? I felt
Have you always been like that?
I guess. Do you think so? I think so.
I think maybe part of it was probably driven by the fact that you were trying to change gears a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that if you do something the same, I don't want to categorize, but say you had like a job that was really demanding and it took a lot of your time and it was the same kind of thing, then I feel like that puts you in a position where you're probably not, but you kind of try to switch things up. I know I'm talking kind of a disjointed way, but so you almost kind of got rid of that time consuming, routine kind of thing, and so then you were trying to fill it with whatever you could, I guess, figure out what you wanted to fill it with, and that requires experimentation, and you have to try. You can't just casually find your next.
Do you know what I see with that is that you're trying to fulfill your potential. Like a lot of times, like you said, people are doing things that they don't really like to do, right? And I see it all the time, and you see them just mope around. They don't know. Sometimes they get stuck, right? And sometimes they need to be undone. I'm just kidding. Sorry, we'll cut that out.
First of many. That's why it's such a good name.
Yeah. But I see it all the time where, they do stuff they don't like, and they want to get out of that, but they don't know how, because they feel like they need this thing to just pay for whatever they want to do, right? But it's not really their passion, and their potential is not met. So is that kind of... Well,
yeah, I guess because hockey photography, we did it for 5 years, and it's quite demanding. Like, when you're in the season, it's like 16-hour days, every, 3-4 days a week kind of thing. And then we're running a business on top of that, so it was just a lot. So I guess we kind of both got burnt out. So then when Gerald switched to YouTube and he was getting into it, and, something that he was passionate about, I kind of wanted that spark again. And so I applied to hybrid fitness. I don't even remember, I think it was advertised to me because I was getting into fitness a lot because we were going to the gym often together. And I saw it and I was like, why not? I'll try it. And then I couldn't believe it. I got the job. And then just every time I went in there, I learned something new. And so I was working there 4 or 5 days a week. And every single time I went in there, every single shift I learned something.
And that's so addicting.
It's so addictive, right?
Yeah.
And then things started to happen at the YMCA because of my experience at hybrid fitness, and I just kind of ate it up. Any kind of training that I could take, I took. I just feel like people were like, here, you want to do this? Here, you want to do this? And I was just like, yeah, I'll take it. And so it was hard to turn down something that I was like, well, that's kind of further,
Yeah, just better yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time.
My knowledge.
Why not, right?
Yeah, and especially with fitness, it all kind of helps each other. Like, say I took an Aquafit course, a training course, that helped in yoga, and yoga helped in weightlifting because you understand your anatomy and how your body works and stuff. It all kind of.
I think this part's key. This part's really key because now you're starting to understand how to balance everything and work things together to make things better.
Yeah.
People,
totally.
Yeah. It's like somebody, I'll break it down in fitness terms here. Say that somebody only trains strength and that's it, right? But they don't do flexibility, mobility, movement and all that, technique. So all they do is strength, but they're prone to injury, right?
Yeah.
So once they start working on each part, they'll elevate their strength even further.
Yeah, totally.
And that's with your potential, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So.
It's the same thing. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I just want to know more.
Yeah, I love it. Keep it going though.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. So this next part is for you, Gerald.
Okay.
Okay, seriously, how did you get to 100K? Just kidding. No. No.
He's gonna take
Yeah.
notes.
No. So I watched your growth. Like I watched a bunch of your videos last night just to keep it fresh.
Cool.
Right. But I love the passion. First off, I watched your 5K as you started going up, and I want to know how important it is to be passionate about what you're doing for one thing. And I noticed with your 5K video, you talk about finding that niche for YouTube.
Yeah. So
can you talk a little bit about both those things?
Yeah, well, part of it's just trying to play the game a little bit, right? Because it's a huge, I think it's the second most used search engine on the internet after Google, and it's also part of Google. So it's basically they have the top two, right?
Yeah.
So in that, the niche idea is mixed with that, how are you even going to be found? Because a lot of people, they're making videos because they want people to see them. For whatever reason, they want people to see them, whatever the end goal is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so because YouTube's so huge, if you don't choose something that you can be known for in some way, then you're just lost in the ether of millions, right? I can't remember the specs now, but I remember there was something where it was crazy, like 300 hours of videos are uploaded like every minute. There's just something bizarre where like even if I got it wrong, the real statistic is just as bizarre, you know?
Yeah. It's probably bigger than
that. It could even be bigger than that. So I find that there's a balance where you have to choose something that's specific enough that you can be known for, but not so ultra specific that one of two things could happen. One, that you just don't have, there isn't a large enough audience that would exist for that, because you only make reviews of certain types of cap screws. It's like, well, nobody's going to watch that. You only like
maybe
10 people, right? And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
And also, I think you have more of a chance of getting bored, because how many videos of that one super niche thing can you really make before, it's redundant? So you got to be, it's like a sweet spot between, I got to be niche enough that people will find me, but not so niche that I'm going to go crazy and that my audience will be capped out pretty early on. And then with that, I think that ties into the passion question, because don't choose something purely for gamesmanship either, because again, I think people can tell, first of all, if you care or don't care.
That's it.
And you yourself don't want, I think a lot of people look at it as like, oh, that's the dream. If you make it on YouTube, you're killing it, right? But not if you hate what you're making. So make sure that because then don't format your channel on something that even if you do make it, that you're gonna hate that you made it, right?
100%.
And often there was this idea. In the beginning, I did a lot of variety content, not really sure what I wanted to do, and a couple of my videos that popped off. Luckily, that's what I'm doing now. I'm okay with it. But if I didn't, then I might have just been quickly known as the person who makes these videos, and they're not even videos I wanted to make. Yeah. And you can fall into that. So that would be, if you're starting out, that would be my advice, is choose something you actually care about. Because one of the things that people talk about honesty on YouTube a lot, and I think that's the original idea, is that you feel like you're talking to a person, so you want an honest interaction, right? You're not watching big network TV. You don't want to feel like it's a big phony thing. You want to feel more intimate, right?
Do you think that's connected with passion though, right?
Yeah, because it's you can tell when you're faking, I guess. 100%. I think like at least a large portion of your audience will be able to. Yeah. So there's two types of reactions, say like, oh, today we're gonna do this and that, right? And I think the way that you say that can either sell it's like, this seems put on, or like, wow, this guy's really into that. Yeah. And I think even if I've had comments that support this, even if the person who likes you and they watch your video is like, I don't really care about that particular topic. But if you seem really into it, then they might just watch it just for the sake of it, Yeah. They're like, I like this guy, so whatever, Yeah. And I found that's why I lean into the nerdy idea, because it's like, I'm not worried about it, I'm not self-conscious of it. I like to talk real fast and get really nerdy and do specific things on videos. And I feel like some of my viewers probably just get a kick out of it, because they're like, look at this guy, it's crazy, he's a maniac, right? Versus where it doesn't seem genuine or authentic. Yeah. And the passion, I think, is what... Today there was a question, actually, somebody says, do you me and the guests that I had on, do you guys actually enjoy making these videos? And I think that it's apparent, hopefully apparent for both me and Philip, that we both do like making our videos, and I'd like to think that's the reason why our audience is what it is, because they know that we like it, and it's not some fake put on thing, but somewhere deep in there's a motivation, whatever it is, to get it out, you know, to kind of do it. And so that, I don't know, I'm rambling, but that's my general advice.
I love it. Honestly, that's what got, like when I was watching your videos, I could feel it. Like
Good.
As weird as it sounds.
That's great feedback. Yeah.
Because I'm the same way, but I feel like sometimes I'm crazy. Because if you get me going on fitness or jiu-jitsu, I'll talk about it.
You know, and I think
all day and night.
That's the thing, is like you can be almost like you could be a little bit self-conscious about that. Of like, that's the great thing about YouTube. It's your channel. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But in a room, like if you went out to dinner, you might feel self-conscious of like, I'm
talking about jiu-jitsu.
I'm talking jiu-jitsu too much, and everybody's eyes are glazing over, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
But on YouTube, there's people that care, and there's people that care about people that care about stuff too. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there might be somebody who just likes you because you care so much about jiu-jitsu, whether they care about jiu-jitsu or not.
Yeah, that's why I was telling you that I care about your videos, because I'm like, I could sense the passion about it. Sorry, I don't know, was that my phone? Yep. Sorry.
It's okay.
We were on a roll. What would you say to somebody? There's a lot of these people, and this is why I'm gonna ask you. Of those people that are trying to make that most beautiful one-time viral video.
I know this answer.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, if I can take the word beautiful out of there, because I think the pursuit for great art, go for it. But if you're trying to just like pop off with that one video,
good luck.
It's well, especially because it's a mystery of how to even do that. You know, what's in right now? A hippopotamus running through a mall? I have no idea. You know, I just made something up, and you guys can try that if you want.
Watch it be a hit, right?
Safe.
That was my idea.
But whatever is going to be the next like crazy video that's getting shared around, I don't know what it is. Nobody, So anyway, don't worry about that. That's a lost cause. But the second thing is that I don't think that I don't think that YouTube is built around that. It hasn't been for a few years now. It doesn't mean that you won't. You know, something cool might not happen if you make that sentence made no sense. It doesn't mean that there won't be something great that happens if you do make a viral video, but it's like, it's not the way the platform is designed. The platform is designed for having like recurring viewers that stick around and watch minutes. So if you did succeed anyway, and you made a viral video and it went huge, then what do you have? You don't have an audience that knows you. They don't know what you do. They don't care, right? And YouTube is hard if you're trying to make it like a business or something, right? And I've learned a lot. I get asked this all the time of like, wouldn't it have been easier if you had some big collab in the beginning and you gained a bunch of subscribers, right?
No, they have no reason to watch you again then.
But even you managing your channel, it's difficult. It's like my best example that's kind of like in the world of athletics that I like to compare it to, which you might know a lot of stories with this, is that there's like young ball players that go pro and they get these huge salaries, and then you look at them 5 years later and they're bankrupt. It's because they didn't have any money management training or skills, right? They just like went right through school, sports all the way, and then they got a huge thing and maybe they hurt their knee and then the paycheck stopped coming, but they had all this debt and then they go bankrupt, right? So that's what I think like a viral video on YouTube is. It's you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with the views. You don't know what to do with the audience. You're going to implode. You got to build slowly and build like a foundation around it.
This might be the same answer, but just on another side of it, say that they're trying to have that niche, and they create that video and they get discouraged about it not getting the views it's supposed to get. But like, if nobody knows you, right?
And it won't get the views that you think it's going to get. One of the ones, hopefully I'm not rambling too much.
No.
One of the ones that I give often as advice, because whenever you guest on people's videos, like, what is some advice you'd give to people trying YouTube, right? So here's my soundbite. I always say is entitlement is the biggest obstacle to success, and that's because when you think, and I didn't quote that, I didn't coin that phrase. It's actually like a well-known sort of like motivational quote. But I think it applies to YouTube heavily because you're going to make a video and you're going to put a lot of hours into it and you're going to think it's awesome and nobody's going to watch it because that's just how the numbers game works.
It's just how it works,
And the problem with YouTube is that you have to keep making those videos and actually maybe even make them better than what you thought you put all the effort in, because you're going to get better, right? And the growth is not going to match it. And you're going to be sitting there like 50 views. That took me 50 hours. You know what I mean? And it's so if you have this sense that I deserve more, I deserve better, you're going to discourage yourself. And then you're going to stop doing it. And you'll never know when you were almost through a breakthrough point where something was going to turn, again, not viral, but like where you get a nice little bump, you get shared somewhere, you get a few more subscribers, they give you some positive words. You never know when that's going to happen. So if you set yourself up for discouragement by feeling like you deserve more, then you're never gonna.
You're always gonna be disappointed.
You're always gonna be disappointed, and then the next time you make a video, you're gonna be like, "What's the point? Why even bother making this video? Nobody's gonna watch it."
Well, we find that too. I thought what you were gonna say is, you're saying making a viral video. What you think, you put 50 hours or you put a full week of work into one video. You think it's amazing.
That's what I mean.
Not everybody else does. Right? Especially if you're not interested in that thing. So often what happens is Gerald will this video, man. I put days and days into this video, and then he thinks it's going to be big, whereas another one, maybe it took you 2 hours or whatever, you didn't put too much thought into it, and it blows up for some reason. So you don't know. There's no formula.
I feel like I tell people this all the time too, is going into something with passion first and with purpose, right? So if your purpose is to, help people, like say this podcast, this is for helping people, and I want to share different stories from different walks of life, right? And that's passion first, right? I love doing this. I love talking to people. And I say this every podcast too. It's a little bit selfish because I want to give myself less excuses. Say I'm doing something and I don't hit it the first time, right? I want to keep going. And what's my excuse if you kept grinding for years and years doing your thing, and then what's my excuse, right? I did it for a week, I deserve it? No, it doesn't work like that. So passion, purpose first. That's how.
And there's always somebody out there that's ready to outrun you if you stop.
I love it though. Exactly. Use that as fuel, fire, whatever you got to do, right? I think that builds all of us, right? When you have that person right beside you, it's like, okay, come on, let's go. I'm right here with you. You want to stop learning? I'm gonna keep going, right?
Exactly.
It's true.
Always.
But in the past too, you asked if I've always been like that. I think if you know your why, right, you know your purpose, and if it's, say for you to help people, that's going to fuel you even more, because every time you do help somebody, or every time you get you get a lot of comments where it's thank you so much, you changed this, or you helped me with this, that's your fuel.
And how do I do it better,
you're
right?
doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you're doing something for money, I mean, sure, you're going to get your paycheck, that's great. But eventually your passion for that thing, if it's based on money, is going to fizzle out really quickly. So if you're constantly learning and you're constantly doing, it's because you want, your why is probably to help other people, right? You're into it. So
and like you said, people can see that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this next question's for you, Julie. So we've been to Fitness Jam and different functions, and you've been doing videos for different people, and I've been seeing them connecting people, right? How important to you, and what you think for networking, that authentic networking, real networking, instead of being oh, hey, I'm Julie, I do this, and here's my card, call me sometime. How important is it to do these things where you're really into it with the person, and you know what I mean?
It's 100%. There's nothing else that works. The only thing that I get business from is meeting people and them telling their friends or like-minded people. That's how I get any kind of business.
And you probably like doing that better, right?
Yeah, so much better. And honestly, I got asked recently by one of your friends, we were talking about collabs and stuff and people wanting you to do work for free. At first I'm always kind of butthurt about I don't want to work for free. Why are you asking me? I'm worth more than that kind of thing. But a lot of the collaborations that you do for free always lead to more work. And a lot of the times too, like you said, I'm shooting, videoing, photographing a lot of people in fitness. Most of the time that starts from me kind of being hey, will you be in my photos? Or hey, will you be in my video? And then it kind of just builds from there, where it becomes something from a photo or doing a video on Gemma, a yoga instructor at the Y. I did the Y Think Big, and then I got the YMCA hired me to do video. It builds, and then eventually you get to pay the bills. So you let the passion fuel you, and you do collabs, and you just keep working because you want to and you're interested in it. That's the basis of my entire business. That's the only way I make money.
Yeah, let's see. I'm a huge believer in what you just said there. Oh, yeah, just helping people and connecting is really cool. But yeah. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. Now my brain's going. Yeah.
I was saying Gemma.
Gemma, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, I still don't know. No, I see those things, but yeah, sorry. When you help those people, like if you do it for free, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's, again, with purpose of what you want to put out, right? You want to help people, you want to do it, you want authentic, real people. Like if Gemma says, oh, like she helped me do this, and she'll know, right? The word of mouth is the best.
Yeah. Well, Gemma referred me to somebody and that somebody then referred me to another person.
Yeah.
I've gotten, just from doing a video with Gemma, who's my friend, and it was just a fun thing to get, yoga videos out there to instruct people how to do yoga, because we thought this will help Y members, with specific postures and stuff like that. Just from that, I got 4 jobs.
Yeah. Now I remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
When people don't know who you are, and this is just a little bit of advice for people too, is if people don't know who you are, how do they know what you do? Mm-hmm. Right? If you have a business or want to put it out there, right?
Yep.
So if you do these little things for people, then you can get it out there by like putting it out there, and then people think about it. Like if people just in your video real quick, okay, who did that video? Oh, Julie. Okay. Then like say a year down the road, who does videos?
That's honestly how long it took too, right? It took me a year of just being like, hey guys, I do video. Hey, over here, I do video. You want to see my videos? I'll do video. I probably did, probably like 4 or 5 free videos, and then eventually just all kind of started to happen. Yeah,
and it's tough to put yourself out there because you want your product to be, again, I'll use that word, beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. Some people wait an extreme amount of time to be like, oh, it's not perfect yet, I'm not going to put it out there. But people still don't know who they are, but they want clients.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a tough balance between, like, is your product good enough for you to put out? Like, don't put it out just because.
Yeah.
But done is better than perfect.
Exactly.
Done is better than perfect. Yeah. And there's a thing in business where people, I don't know, this is a saying that I've heard. People need to hear about you or see about you or like something.
3 times.
No, 7 to 10 times.
That's what I mean.
Right? Before their brain will even
I can
register.
relate to that on YouTube because I will get a comment that once a week you get a comment that says like, okay, I'll finally subscribe. And it's like, how many videos have you watched? Because I might just randomly come up, right? Because recommended.
Yeah.
They obviously watch a lot of videos on cameras, and maybe they see one of mine, they click on it, they go, oh, this guy.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's a good video. But they just go on with their day. After you do that 3 or 4 times, they're like, okay, fine. I guess I should. I'm even the same with channels I subscribe to.
100%, yeah.
I found, I remember we were watching all those Wired autocomplete interviews kept coming up.
Yep.
And we laughed at like 3 or 4 or 5 of them in a row. And it's like, fine, I'll subscribe to Wired so I miss them. I think I've since unsubscribed from Wired because they haven't been funny anymore. But they were just there. Or when we were, like the guy who does those pitch meetings.
Yeah.
He kept coming up. And so like, okay, I subscribe. Like, I want to see him. So it takes me even. So I obviously shouldn't be too harsh on my audience because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I seldom just watch one video and go like, oh, I need that in my life forever now. You know what I mean? Like, you need a few. You
gotta feel it out.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more like a 3-4 times. Not a 7 to 10 times.
7 to 10. Well, in order for people to hire you and pay you money.
I guess if there's money on the line.
Yeah. Again, it's like if they can see your passion in what you do, right? Is it for real in that one video? Like, is their passion real in that one video?
Yeah, true.
And then they see it again. Okay, this guy's for real. Like, he actually likes what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. For me, if I see that even twice, I'm like, you got me.
Yeah. And you can see the span of time too, right? Like 2 solid years ago, over 2 years ago now. But 2 years ago, you can look up videos where Gerald's just like spitting it out his passion. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now nothing's changed.
Honestly, that's what I was looking for that's why I really enjoyed your videos because I went back in your timeline, still the same passion.
Yeah. And
that leads to my next question because I watched your 5K, your 20K, and you're obviously at 100K now. What was the mindsets like at each stage, and is the passion still the same? Is the goal still the same too?
It's a great question.
To be honest, I don't think I have a goal anymore. I think like
have you reached it? Like
I guess so. I guess
he's done.
You're done. I'm done.
I'm done.
They started more modest probably early on, which I think is probably a good thing. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I'm down with goals. If you have a goal you want to make it big, then I'm not gonna say don't. But for me, I kept it pretty modest. Yeah. And I think for each one of those things that you mentioned, I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh wow, that's pretty good. But then I don't know. Probably once I was in like the 60 to 70 zone, I was like, okay, 100K is obtainable now. Yeah. And that's enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not gonna stop making YouTube videos, but I'm like, I'm not going for something crazy beyond that. I had a conversation with a friend of mine recently where we were talking about some people that have a couple 100,000 subscribers and they're still like hustling like maniacs, right? Like, I mean, extreme.
I see their videos,
and go for it, right? But we were talking about, it's like, what is the goal there? Are they trying to win the internet? You know what I mean? And then like, because obviously there's always that concern of like, are you gonna? For me, I want something somewhat sustainable as well, right? Yeah. So I don't want to just like have like a rocket and then be done. Yeah. So for me now, I'm just gonna. I almost feel like a little bit of pressure's off. It's like, okay, I like if it's a video game, I feel like 100K is like the final boss or whatever. You know, like, I beat you to.
Now you're the bonus round.
It might be, for some people, it might be 1 million. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or even 10 million, because they have an award for that now. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if that's yours, then go for it. Yeah. But for me, I feel like, because again, a little bit more niche. You know, 100K, I beat the game. Yeah. Now I'm just gonna do what I do and then go from there, and I'm sure it'll grow a little bit, and that's fine by me.
I feel like if you were trying to get, say you're okay, I hit 100K, now I'm trying for 1 million. If you were going for those numbers, it would be similar to what we were saying about going for money. Yeah. You would do whatever it takes. So you'd be vlogging, you'd be doing this, you'd be doing that, and your channel would suffer from it. Yeah. If you're happy where you are right now, whether that's 5,000, 500. I remember when we celebrated you having 100 subscribers.
Well, because I was able to make a custom URL.
Yeah.
Nice. So you get 100 subscribers.
You get little milestones.
And then I was youtube.com/Gerald and Undone. I was like,
halfway there. So I remember that. And if you can stay in the like happiness bubble of where you are in your life, and not constantly, oh well, I don't have this. If you can just appreciate what you have, then you're just going to stay here and be happy. You're going to keep pumping out videos that are, your niche, they're relevant to you, you're passionate about them, and people like you for it. Whereas, like, if you're trying for 1 million, you're going to do whatever it takes, you're going to hustle and you're going to do this, and I feel like you'll do it.
I don't like to set goals that I find are discouraging, though, as well. Like, so YouTube does scale in a fun way, though, which is that the first 100 is a lot harder than the second 100. You know what I mean? And it's always going to be like that, I'm sure. The first 1 million is impossible, and the second 1 million wasn't that bad, right? So but at the same time, the numbers game could tell you, look how hard it was to get 100K. I have to do that 9 more times now, whatever, you know what I mean? It's 1 million. Oh, that freaks me out. So instead, I'm just like, well, the channel's going to keep growing, probably. If I keep doing it, 100%. It'll keep growing, right? And I'm happy where it is now, so now I just want to have like clean growth with content that I'm happy with. And that's enough.
Still passionate?
Yeah, I guess like you can't have no goals, because I think you might. For me, I'm the type of person who likes to complete things, so I need to give myself something to do. You know what I mean? Or else I don't think I would do anything.
Lots of video games.
So I'm trying to find that balance between what's something the next achievement, but without something that makes me feel like, oh, I don't got 40,000 hours. You know what I mean? I can't do that. So I think I'm at a good place where I can probably set the achievement to whatever I want, and be reasonable and happy with it. So I'm lucky enough now where I have a decent enough support base that I think I can go after maybe a video that I want to go after. I have a new series that I'm starting the end of this month, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. We'll see. I got 2 lined up. We'll see if it's a full year's worth after that.
And you can make it project based. Now.
I wouldn't have done that idea last year probably, and I don't know that I would have been able to pull it off, because when you like, it's based on doing a lot of collaborations with bigger channels. And so you kind of have to establish yourself a little bit first,
platform,
before you can be like, you should have me on to check this out, because they'll be, who the hell are you?
So it's got to be good for them too.
Exactly. So now I feel like I've got a decent enough base that I can go after these fun ideas that I have. So I guess that's my
that's
goal,
fun,
my current goal.
That's really cool.
Thanks. Gives me something to put my time into, I think.
There's a freedom in that too, right? Like, especially when I first started out, I was like, oh, I wish I could shoot that, but gotta go make my money or whatever, so I have to shoot stuff that I don't necessarily want to. You're in just that sweet spot where you get to shoot whatever you want.
I still do feel a tiny bit a slave to my audience, though, because and it's not, they didn't do anything wrong. It's me. It's mentally in my head. I know that what the channel's for. I know what they want.
Yeah.
There's a range of it, but I know what they don't want me to go out and do a new dance instruction video. You know, what I mean? That's not what they want.
Yeah.
Luckily, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But
maybe the old you.
Exactly. There's always that like thing of like, is this gonna be on brand, so to speak? You know.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to push it a little bit so that I can keep myself like into it.
Yeah.
You know, passionate and excited and stuff like. Because again, you know, you don't want it to be like, oh, I'm just gonna do another one of these same old videos again.
Yeah.
You know, but I do feel a little bit like, but I do owe it to my audience to like not go too absurd with it. You know, so I don't know.
Well, it's good. They keep you accountable.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Because, you know, I built the audience based on doing one thing. You can't just do a complete 180. So luckily, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
But
I see people do that all the time, though. Like try to do something different, and people don't watch them anymore. I get.
But then you got to work you got to grind it all over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to start. Even though you might have a big channel, you're basically starting again.
Yeah.
Just your numbers don't make any sense anymore.
Because they're not watching it for you to dance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe.
You see,
You
well,
don't
this guy's
know
got
that.
half a million subscribers,
Yeah.
but only 5,000 people are watching his videos. It's because they're probably starting something new, and then they're gonna have to re-hustle their way to now being a dance person that people care about.
And isn't it views kind of more so that matter? Like you can have, you know, like you said, 500,000 subscribers, but if you're only getting, you know, like 1,000 views
and watch time are important. So because
Yeah.
YouTube knows whether people care, right?
Yeah.
So it can hurt you, obviously. Sometimes you're better off actually just making a brand new channel.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't have weird metrics, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I agree with the freedom, and in no way am I being like, oh no, it's not that. I'm super lucky, but I do feel just maybe like 20% where it's like there's a little bit of an anchor there where I'm not completely free. I still do kind of have to keep it relevant. You know what I mean?
for sure.
But luckily, that's up to you. The more creative you are, the more you can do and still make it relevant.
Exactly.
You can, you know, so.
It makes you always remember where you came from, right?
Yeah,
True,
that's
exactly.
true.
That's
Yeah.
it. A few more questions, guys.
Yeah, this is great.
I want to know what your favorite thing to film or capture on picture.
Fitness. Definitely fitness. Sports and fitness, yeah. Any kind of action.
Yeah.
I like it. Like when we were shooting hockey's a really fast sport.
Yeah.
And you need a really quick shutter speed, and you need to know, you know, where the play's going, where the puck's going.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it's really similar in fitness. Because if you photograph somebody lifting weights,
Mm-hmm.
so often they're like, trying not to get that, you know, try to make them look good while they're lifting 400 pounds above their head, you know. Cause
almost a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Well, it's the challenge of it, honestly. Like regular portraits, I've never really been that into because of, I don't know, it's just kind of slower. It's a little bit, I like the action. I like the fast pace. Any kind of action based stuff I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it would be, I think I'd split it between photo and video. For photo, I like taking pictures of people that are concentrating on something that they're doing. I know there's different terms for portraiture for this, but they would be sort of like environmental portraits, but I don't like it. I almost like paparazzi, like halfway.
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
Where I feel like we're there and there's photos being taken, so it's fine. You know, I'm not creeping around.
Like a wedding shoot.
Those are my favorite.
But I've had the opportunity to be at a couple things this last year where people they were also working on stuff, you know, and you see them working together, working on something, fixing something, and trying to get an angle where it's like almost like a fly on the wall kind of idea of like you're seeing what they're doing and they don't know that you're taking their photo, so they're really into what they're doing and trying to capture that passion or that interest in what they're doing.
Yeah.
Where I've seen other things where you've obviously done photos like this where they're meant for marketing purposes. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to pretend that they're in their space doing their thing, but we know that they're also not.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
that's
a challenge.
That's
It's
a challenge, yeah.
So what I like to do is get the ones where they are just in their space and you're just like sort of grabbing one from them, and then afterwards like for me, I like them. I don't always know whether the person likes them because everybody's got their own insecurities, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I highlighted those or not. Maybe when they concentrate, they make it weird. They like squeeze their jaw. I don't know. But for me, if I succeeded, it's that when I look at it, I go like, this person's doing their thing. Mm-hmm. Even when we went to Tom Lanning, he was like, chopping up the wood or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of really cool shots of him like running wood through a miser and like using a chainsaw and stuff. But the guy's like focused on what he's doing. I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's really good. We have this. Gerald has the table that you saw it in probably all of his videos. It's got a live edge.
Yeah, yeah.
It's wood. And
He made that.
Yeah, this guy.
He's very talented.
Yeah, he's like a sort of do-it-all kind of like worker.
It's like a handyman.
Metal, wood, everything. Makes like custom furniture and stuff like that. So I like that, and I also like product because I can take as long as I want with it, like staging it and moving around and stuff. And sometimes I was
cameras you're talking about, right? Or
could be anything. Like
could be anything,
making a joke. If you look at my Instagram feed, I've got videos of like little VW bus models and gummy bears and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Just goofy things.
Yeah.
But I find it's funny because it's so small scale that you could make like if it was a big production for people, you'd have to have huge spaces, right?
Yeah.
But I can do the same size production, but like on my table if it's a small little thing, and it's fun, like multiple lights and angles.
People like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, people do.
Yeah.
There's there's lots of channels like that, right? Yeah. Just because my kid likes watching other kids open toys and adults are doing it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, that's what unboxing is, right?
Yeah.
So
the ones I do mostly are kind of like just trying to make a product look really, badass.
Yeah.
You know, like put like cool lights and really moody kind of stuff on it. So it's like,
And people appreciate that stuff. At least I do, for sure. Like if somebody spent some time on anything, really, or anybody moving to do something and put their energy towards it, I always appreciate that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
We were actually videoed. So we just went to a conference, and Gerald did, he was interviewing people at the conference, and I was shooting video of him doing that. And we had a friend that has a one wheel, and he's a videographer as well, so he'll like drive around on his one wheel and take really smooth, beautiful video of people. And I didn't even realize he was videoing us, but he caught us in the moment. We were looking at the back of the camera, talking about settings, and both of us were just like right into it, and it's a gorgeous shot. I was like, that's all. I didn't know he was doing, because if I did know, I might have,
And people like on the job stuff, showing them what they're doing, then they can use that too. I could repost that and say, oh, here was me working on this video.
I did post it. Half my Instagram is me holding a camera, being like, look what I can do.
That was the conference in Vegas.
Vegas,
I don't want to sound like a creep. But
no. We posted a whole bunch of stuff about it. Yeah. That's great that you watched it and looked at it.
Yeah, it was cool. It looked like it was a great event.
It was intense.
It was all about gear.
It's consumer electronics show.
Yeah.
So a lot of it though was like TVs are a huge thing there, robotics. Like basically it's like high level tech. You know what I mean? So
that would be cool.
It was amazing.
It was neat.
And it was like 6 just giant.
And anything like that relates to that. So like if you're into gaming, they've got like you can play ping pong with a robot that can like be a ping pong. Just sort of like how can we show innovation in all these fields that people shop? So like smart refrigerators and just pushing
electric bikes, electric
electric vehicles were a big thing, obviously, because that's where everybody's going.
Well, there was electric backhoes, like farm equipment, electric farm equipment. It was there was some really
what that
cool
means,
stuff.
right?
Robots are taking over the world.
That robot playing ping pong, was it good? Did you?
It was weird. It was weird how like you knock a ball on it and it's like an articulating arm holding a paddle, right? It's like it's the ball back. Yeah. It's like how does it so the ball say the paddle's over here and the ball was over here. And I was like. It does not spin.
It's weird. Your heartbeat and stuff like that too, so it could sense how you're feeling.
There's a setting so that if you're getting frustrated, it eases up on you.
Yeah, it won't beat you then. Like so that you can have a chance.
And if you're happy, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
So they got wacky stuff like that.
That freaks me out. Honestly,
the whole convention would have freaked you out then. Like there was tons of.
And there's a lot of cool rooms, just like look what we can do with screens, curved screens and bend screens, screens on the ceiling, screens that fold up. So everywhere you go, there's just like
there was screens that were rolling up, so it was just a bar, and then it was like this thick, and then the screen would come out of it, and then when it comes back down, it's obviously rolling up on the inside, like just things you'd never think of.
When you were there, did you feel like I still have a lot of work to do?
Oh, there's a funny thing here is that there's another convention in Vegas that actually takes place a few months after. It's called NAB. I think it's April is when that was.
April, yeah.
So I went to NAB last year. That was the first time I think I'd ever been in one of these in my field. Mm-hmm. And then this is the first time I went to CES. Now NAB is a lot more people like me, like people into cameras, broadcasting, video, photo, that kind of thing.
National Association of Broadcasters.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's based on broadcasters, but it's kind of become like an unofficial YouTuber
hang out.
Yeah, because, because YouTubers need that gear to make their videos, so they all kind of go to it. When I went to NAB, my channel was like less than half the size I think that it is now last year, and I almost kind of felt like a little bit of a big deal because like people coming up to me, oh, I watch your channel, it's so great, whatever, lots of times, right? And then I went to CES. And nobody knew who I was. And I was even there like with a press credential interviewing people. Nobody knew who I was. And the only people that were there that anybody cared about were like Marquez Brownlee and like Casey Meza, who had like 10 million subscribers, right? So I was like, okay. I went from being like a semi-big deal at one convention in the same place to going back another time and nobody knows who you are. You know what I mean?
How important is that? Like, I want to ask you this because I feel that way with certain things, and I love that. Where you're like, people know you from this one thing, but they don't know you from this other thing. How do you feel for your own passion and your own like motivation to be like, you know what, I can keep going with this stuff?
I think
how do you feel about it? Like,
I think it's good to be humbled, you know,
100%.
Especially YouTube is such like a narcissistic kind of like ego platform, right? Because it just feeds into itself. You make something where you're like me, and then people are like, fantastic. Right? So you're like, oh, I guess he likes it. I guess I'm amazing. And I didn't, let me try something else. You put it out there like, even better. You're like, okay, so I can't go wrong. You know?
And
so,
you're constantly getting positive feedback. Like I think was it you that I was telling you? In our jobs, we very rarely get, like in fitness, we very rarely get positive feedback like that. Whereas like but it goes both ways. But every single video you have, it's like, oh, I loved your video. I love you. I love your hair. I love this. I love that.
People will send me emails, just like paragraphs full of emails just telling me how awesome it is. So I think you can easily turn into an egomaniac, right? Yeah. So it's good to go to things where then you go like, oh, I am a little drop in a giant pond here. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, love that.
And lets you know like, settle down there. You know, you might have an audience that likes you, but there's a huge world out there.
But they're not here.
They're not here. So.
It's a really wealthy person walks in the room and they think, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that, but they're a dick. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make you important. Yeah. Right?
It's true.
It's like, I love your excuses. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. You know
it's good to get a bit of a check once in a while, I think. You know? Especially when the platform is so...
where it feeds you.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's so, I think it's very easy. And you even do it accidentally sometimes. Like, I was talking about this with Josh, where you just kind of like, when you start out, you're thinking like, oh, the first time you work with a company so they can send you something so you can make a video on it, right? First time it happens, it's so great. And then you fast forward a year later and you're writing emails like, come on guys, you got to send this to me last week already. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big deal. You got to like watch out. There's like that kind of like.
Catch yourself, right?
Yeah. So it's good to be humbled a little bit here and there. So, you know, it was a positive thing. I didn't have anything negative to say, but it's just, I just said it a couple times. I was like, this is so much different than NAB, you know, like.
Can't wait to go back to NAB.
I went up to like one booth to do one interview and I thought, this is relevant to my channel. Yeah. And they're like, who are you and why should we care? Yeah. I was like, because I make videos on this stuff.
Don't you know me?
You don't know me?
You know, Mr. Undone.
This doesn't mean anything to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I make videos on YouTube and everything else. Like, I guess I need to check myself a little bit. Yeah. So it's good. It's good to have that.
Yeah. But it, like I said, it also goes both ways where you need some thick skin because there's a lot of videos where, you know, so he does percentages. So 96% of people like his videos most of the time, right? Or I think it might be higher than that.
Yeah. I mean, I get bothered when it goes below 96.
Right.
You know,
so then he'll get like 3 comments, maybe even 1 sometimes, where it's just like, I don't like this, and I don't like you, and you suck.
So you do
and
read
that's
those.
all I hear about.
Yeah, I try to read them all. It's gotten to a point where it's difficult because that's a good problem to have, right? I used to, without a doubt, I reply to all comments. Unless it's just weirdly racist or sexist or whatever, I just delete them. But if it's like a valid criticism or anything else, and then all the positive stuff, read and reply to everything.
That's good for networking and people who subscribe.
I think for somebody who's starting out, should definitely do that. Do it until you just can't, because now you can't make videos if you do it, right? And I'm at that point now, not to weird brag, but like, I can't reply to all the comments. So I try my best to just kind of like read them, take them in, heart the ones that are like, thanks for taking the time to say that, you know. So I do, obviously. The thing that sucks is that you don't know when the next one you read is going to be a negative comment. So you want to acknowledge all the positive ones, but in order to see them all, you also have to read the negative ones, right?
Yeah.
And for just a human condition is that negativity hits harder than positivity, right?
Always does.
So even if the rational part of my brain should say, seriously, dude, look at out of every 100 comments, 90 something of them are like telling you how awesome you did.
Yeah.
And then a handful of them are not.
What if it's a hater though? You know what I mean? Like a person that's not even valid.
That's
Do you
the
still
majority of the
let
time.
it affect you?
I guess it depends on the comment.
Yeah.
If somebody, like I said, somebody just calls you a bunch of troll names or whatever, I
Yeah.
can almost laugh and just
Okay,
and you
good,
know what I mean, just
good,
move on. But when it's something where it's almost like a little bit personal, or if I make something that's a little bit personal,
Yeah.
and you feel a little bit more vulnerable about it, then it can sting a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where perhaps they tapped on an insecurity you didn't know you had, or maybe you did know and you didn't want people to talk, whatever it is, right? For me, it's not usually anything like about me that would be an insecurity. It would be like about the thing that I made.
Yeah.
Something about it that I put effort in that I didn't realize, or something over here took extra work, but there was no reason to say it in the video.
Yep.
And if they hit that thing, it was like, ooh, I put so much work into that thing. You know what I mean? Like, yowza. Like,
I think we should name this title of this thing Passion, right? Because
That's
again,
fair.
it's about passion, right? Even the negative comments is about you're getting passionate.
yeah, I guess if I
about it,
didn't care, then it
That's
wouldn't
it.
matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a job in your life where you didn't care, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you worked
Somebody
at Tim
says, "Oh,
Hortons
you
or
suck at
whatever.
this."
You're like, yeah, probably.
Probably do.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be easier if you didn't put your heart and soul into every
Yeah.
single video that you do. And it is a piece of you too. Like when I do
100%.
a shoot, I almost don't want to hear eventually once I'm like a week later, once I'm like calmed down about doing a shoot, then I'll be like, okay, give me feedback. I want to know. I want to learn, kind of thing. But at first, I don't want anybody to see my
Judge it and
yeah,
say
exactly.
something.
Yeah.
We all get that. I think anybody who has passion feels that,
Yeah.
right? Because they're like, it's like talking about something. They're like, I don't want to hear you. You suck, or whatever. And you're like,
Exactly.
come on,
Yeah.
right?
I remember hearing this person. It was a YouTuber of old era that said, if you don't feel completely torn up, or how was it? It was if you don't. I don't know if they called it defensive or what it was, but
Vulnerable.
their position was like, if you aren't so into what you're making that if anybody says anything negative about it, that it doesn't like unravel you and make you like upset and everything else, then you don't care about what you're making. You know what I mean? Like you don't care as much as you should.
Yeah.
Because you should be at the point where, you know, I'm hitting publish now and I can't take it.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll see when because sometimes YouTubers freak out and they like have a meltdown, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, you need to have thicker skin on this platform. That's not the argument I'm making here.
Yeah.
I'm saying I think that people who say that need to think about the fact of like, you want somebody, it's not about thick skin, you want them to be so offended by your negative comment because of how much they care.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not doing a good enough job for you as the viewer.
Yeah.
Because they don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there are videos where I probably like put more effort in than other ones.
Yep.
And if I am really butthurt about a comment, it probably means that I did a better job making it than other videos. And so it's a positive thing. So the idea of like you should have thicker skin and take negativity, I think that reacting poorly to negativity, well, not reacting poorly, but like being affected by it means that you care.
Yeah.
And that means that you're hopefully means you're doing better work because you care.
And often too, if it's constructive criticism, if somebody's like, hey man, like I really liked what you did here. Maybe next time try this.
I don't think
you're
that's
not
negative,
affected at all.
That's
Yeah,
also not a YouTube comment.
Yeah, that's true. People don't do that.
That's more like
that's a fellow YouTuber comment.
Yeah, exactly. And they would send that in a private message,
Yeah.
because they know what the comment feed is like, you know.
Yeah. So quickly, if you were to give a tip on anybody who wants to start something in that type of platform, or say a business or anything like that, what kind of tip or advice would you give them?
Just honestly, just do it. Like we were talking before about perfectionism and trying to get it out, and not wanting people to see it because you're afraid that they're gonna. But you just have to do it. You'll only get better if you just keep trying.
Especially if you're passionate about it.
Exactly,
right?
right? Like just try it, get it out, put it out, see how that one works, and then Gerald, you said this before. You're just gonna get better and better and better and better. If you're waiting for that, I gotta get my $1,500 job or whatever it is. It's not gonna come until you do the smaller jobs.
Yeah.
So just. If it's photo and video, just shoot as much as you possibly can. Edit as much as you possibly can.
Experience, right?
Yeah. Find that thing that you like to shoot the most. Where, like, when you're shooting it, time just flies by. Like, I remember when we were shooting hockey tournaments, it would, when I was at the booth, I was, making sales and, talking to people and stuff. I was stressed out. And then it almost like everything got quiet around. As soon as I got behind the camera, I didn't really notice, like, I got hit by pucks sometimes because I didn't, like...
And you didn't feel that?
Oh, no, I felt it. I didn't see them coming.
Okay,
I didn't see them coming. Yeah, no.
That's so concentrated, I could get hit with a puck.
That is
But, like, because you know how, like, if you're on the sidelines or whatever, you're you know what's going on, but I've been hit by sticks, I've been hit by pucks, somebody's body checked me because I'm so into what I'm doing that, like,
That's a dangerous game, that hockey for
It was
Hopefully you got
dangerous.
danger
Honestly,
pay
if
for that,
you, I paid myself danger pay. It's just a matter of time. If you're on the sidelines of a sports, of any kind of sport, and you're shooting and you're looking through a lens, of any kind of sports, you're gonna get hit. Like no matter what, it's gonna happen. Unless it's, I don't know, with bobsledding. Hopefully you don't get hit by a bobsled. But
that would be worse than a puck.
Suck. But yeah, if that's the thing. Anyways, we kind of got the sideline there. If whatever that thing is for you, if time just falls away, 4 hours flies by, it feels like a minute, find that thing. And the only way you're going to find it is by doing. Shoot as much as you can. That's my only advice.
I'll give you a trifecta.
Oh.
One of them is based a lot, like two of them are actually pretty close to what you said, just kind of like my expansions on it. The first one would be that, there's a fun, I've been dropping a lot of these like motivational quotes today for some reason.
I love it, honestly.
So and I always butcher them too, they're always badly paraphrased. So here's another one for you. There's one that says, the best time to plant a giant redwood tree was 100 years ago. The second best time is today, right? I think that ties into what you're saying, which is that you're always going to be in that position of like, today's the best day to do it because there's never going to be a perfect time, and you're always going to wish that you had done it earlier than you did it now. So I think that with your just do it idea, I think that definitely goes in with that. And further to what you said about that feeling that you get, I think there should be a disclaimer on that, but it's a positive disclaimer, which is that there's an expression which I loathe, which is that if you find something you like, if you work something you love, if you love your work, you'll never work a day in your life. You know that one? Mm-hmm. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. You're going to work your ass off if you love something. Like you're going to work way harder than you did on something else,
I
right?
really like that.
So buckle up, because if you do feel that, it just might not, it might whip by, like you said, you might realize, I pulled in 16 hours and I'm going to die, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that you didn't work way harder than you would have on the job that you don't like, right?
Yeah.
And then with that, my third thing is another, quote or whatever. It's that this, which could be YouTube, it could be, making client work for photo and video, whatever it is, like building the reputation part of it. It's that it's a marathon and not a sprint. Yeah, so
beautiful.
It goes into that discouragement thing I was talking about. Is that today actually on the live stream that I did, somebody asked, do you worry about YouTube being like oversaturated now, right? I mean, YouTube's always kind of been oversaturated, so maybe not over, but just it's saturated.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
The answer is that every time that somebody, there's so many people that are obviously making channels, right? Mm-hmm. And the majority of them are not going to stick it out.
Yep.
Because it's long and it's hard and it's not easy. It's work, right? And you have to do it for a long time. The miracles where they get 1 million subs in a year or whatever, that's the lottery. It's not going to happen.
No.
Like, it might, but whoever's listening to this, probably not going to happen to you. You know, let's be real.
1 in a
right?
billion.
Exactly. So you got to strap in for the long ride, and you have to, like we talked about earlier, you got to keep trying, because as soon as you stop, then the person who started the same time as you that didn't stop, well, now you toast, because they didn't stop, right?
That's
so
it.
You got to keep going.
Yeah.
I think that's the best advice, is stop expecting things to be a quick fix. It's not. It's work. It's always going to feel like work, and it's always going to take a long time. And hopefully you like it enough to keep doing it, because then eventually you'll be happy you did, I think.
I have one more advice piece.
I want to hear it.
Based on what you said too, though, like you've talked a lot about this. So when
you didn't give me my appropriate hang at the end of my thing, there.
Oh, sorry.
You'll be happy you did.
That's amazing.
I'm like, just stick with it because you'll be happy you did. I have
Mic
another
drop.
thing to say.
I wasn't listening to you. What did you say?
Hey, go ahead.
Is perspective. Keep perspective. So, and not, the world doesn't owe you anything.
That's
just keep going. So, like I said before, we celebrated Gerald passing 100, and we were both legit happy about it.
100, not 100K.
100 subscribers. I remember that. I remember being so proud of you. Because I thought in my head, like, even in this room that we're in right now, imagine if there was 100 people standing in this room right now.
This is not a big room.
It's not a big room. Each and every one of them subscribed to Gerald. Like, it was unfathomable. And that's, like, you had 100 people, like, good jobbing you and wanting to hear what you have to say. So in that perspective, like, that's when you made it. Like, it's good to have goals, but don't always be, like, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Like, yes, that keeps your drive, but also appreciate what you have right now.
Yeah, I say that about happiness, right? Were you happy at 100?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
we were.
If you were happy at 100, happy at 10, just be happy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's all, right?
Yeah.
It's good to have
That's
a
good advice,
reflection point, though,
Yeah.
like where you can go, remember that, because then it keeps you
Always reflecting.
Don't get bogged down,
Yep.
when it's hard now, because like remember how happy you were there, like the 100 thing. If ever I got freaked out now, I should be able to think, well, that was 100. Now we're talking about 100,000.
Yeah.
It's absurd. You know what I mean? For every one person in this room, there have to be 1,000 other people.
Yeah,
Besides, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So if you don't have those points, like you just said, to remind you, then it could just become a number, or it could just become you get all in your head. So you need to have those looking back things where you go, let's look back, reflect a minute, look back, and appreciate, I guess, the journey that you know.
Yeah. And keep track of your goals too, because when you hit them, like sometimes when you're as driven as somebody like you, Hawk, I'm sure it's easy to just, keep plugging away and never check yourself. But like, say 5 years ago, if I looked at my life right now and from myself 5 years ago, I would have been like, wow, she has it all, man. Like, that's like, what else could you want? Like, she has a car and she has like an apartment.
That's perspective, right?
Right? And like a camera and stuff, like, that's amazing. And I get to shoot video and like I get to do that for a living. That's crazy. I get to go work out for a living. That's nuts, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's got it all. So just keep thinking that way, where is this what you want? Is this what you signed up for? Is this what you asked for?
Yep.
Then be happy with it.
That's an amazing point. Honestly, that's how I see things too when I grind for fitness is my side thing, but I love it so much that honestly, it doesn't feel like work. Yes, I'm always trying to work towards getting better. I tell my wife all the time, like, I just want to get better at being a trainer and being better at jiu-jitsu and being a better dad and being better, you know what I mean? So like that constant drive of like, okay, how do I be a better dad, be a better example, be better at this, right? So break it down, just be better at everything,
Which is so
right?
funny because I knew about you before I even met you, just from the circle of fitness people in London. All I heard about was Hawk from different places.
Bad things, bro.
No, amazing things too, right? And that's, I guess you can take, like the perspective of your subscribers, the perspective of your clients who think that you are the best trainer, who think that you are the best at
Jiu-jitsu.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Gesundheit. The best at grappling.
Yeah.
The best pull-ups I've ever seen, right? Done by you, right?
Yeah.
But like, I can do possibly one pull-up, maybe.
We're gonna get that on camera.
I know for sure I can do 4 chin-ups, right?
Yeah.
But like other people who can't do one would think, you're the most amazing fitness guy I've ever seen. So if you think about, but you're constantly, how can I be better? How can I be better? But people there's always somebody below you that want to be at you are their goal.
There's another person that I want to get to.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
That's how you just stay hungry, right?
Yeah.
Last thing, do you guys want to plug anything? Shout out to anybody? This is the hardest part.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Your
I'm
YouTube?
just happy to be here.
How do they reach you here? How do they see the videos that I saw? I know you don't.
I'm Gerald Undone everywhere, so I mean,
Okay.
just type that into something that you use.
And we'll link it in the notes too. So Gerald Undone on YouTube, Instagram, all that.
Yeah, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Those are the main things that I use. I'm not on like the Snapchat and all the fancy
Snapchat.
ones. But no, thanks. I mean, no need to plug me. I appreciate you having me on, and it's a pleasure. So yeah.
Thank you, and congrats again, Julie.
I'm Julie Whelan Photography, so
go.
that's what I'm known as. But I do more video now than I do photography, but I still do both. OG photographer and video's my jam now. So
She does. I'll use this word again. Beautiful videos. So yeah, give her a shout, guys. I'll put all her information and Gerald's information in the notes. Well, Dan will. I won't. But thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.